Hi, here are the top 10 films of 1952. When I say top 10 films, I mean my personal favourite films of 1952. In at number 10, Bend of the River. Anthony Mann's second western with James Stewart sees Stewart try and deliver supplies to a newly formed settlement after gold is discovered in the region. The location photography in Oregon is absolutely stunning, especially the scenes involving a steamboat. James Stewart plays against character as a reformed outlaw trying to do the right thing, and he's too charming and likeable to really quite pull off the Unforgiven-esque character. Are you James Stewart, killer of women and children? Oh yeah, I kill women and children. I kill about just about everything that's walked or crawled on the face of this earth, and I'm here to kill you. In at number 9, Five Fingers. This espionage thriller, based on the real case of Cicero, stars James Mason as the real-life spy who sold information to the Nazis in Turkey during World War II. James Mason is one of my favourite actors, and he's great as the worm-like spy who'll do anything to get money. As is always the case in these films, you want the bad guy to get away with it, even though the bad guy here is selling weapons to about the most evil people that's ever existed. There are some genuinely tense sequences throughout the film, and you never know quite who to trust. In at number 8, Limelight. Charlie Chaplin stars, directs, writes, and even composes the score, which is absolutely fantastic, to this very dark, romantic comedy. Chaplin plays a famous former comedian who is now a sort of down-and-out alcoholic, and his life is changed when he saves a struggling dancer from committing suicide. Not exactly a laugh-a-minute movie, but this is a really touching film, and Chaplin and Claire Bloom, who plays the ballerina, are both fantastic in it, and it's charming yet depressing. You even get to see Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton on the screen at the same time as they do an old-fashioned comedy act on stage. In at number 7, The Bad and the Beautiful. This Hollywood set drama has a really interesting structure where we hear from a famous actress, director and screenwriter talk about the producer who made them and how they fell out with him. Kirk Douglas stars as the incredibly ambitious and ruthless producer, and I always admire Kirk Douglas for wanting and being incredibly good at playing absolute arseholes. His character here will do whatever it takes to rise to the top, and he doesn't care about who he steps on to get there. Most of the characters have incredibly sort of dark journeys. Lana Turner plays an alcoholic actress who can't get over the death of her father. The screenwriter, his wife dies in a plane crash. I mean, again, this is another top comedy classic of 1952. In at number 6, High Noon. This classic western stars John Wayne.
It's Gary Cooper, asshole.
Sorry, Bruce. Yes, Gary Cooper as the man who has just gotten married and given up his post as sheriff, who feels honor bound to not run but stand up to the man arriving on the noon train who intends to kill him. Cooper looks to the town for help, but no one will stand with him, and he's forced to fight alone against 4 men who want him dead. The stakes are incredibly high, even though there's only 4 villains, who usually in a western, Clint Eastwood will shoot 4 men in about 2 seconds at the beginning of the film. But there's real jeopardy here, and it shows you just how dangerous 4 men with guns are, as Cooper is terrified before they arrive and sneaking around the town when they do. In at number 5, Forbidden Games. This French World War II drama shows the horrors of war through the eyes of children. The film starts in depressing fashion as a little girl's parents and dog are gunned down by German fighter jets in an incredibly well executed sequence. The girl is taken in by a poor farming family, and a friendship is formed between her and the youngest son, and in order to cope with the incredible horrors, they create a small animal graveyard. This film is simultaneously very, very depressing and a little bit too cute. In at number 4, Umberto D. This Italian neo-realist film is filled with practically entirely non-professional actors, including the lead, Carlo Battisti. He plays an old man who is evicted from his flat who can't seem to get any money together to look after himself or his dog. Christ, there were some depressing films in 1952. His friendship with the maid is especially touching, a young girl who is pregnant with no idea who the father is, and she is worried she will lose her job once the landlady finds out she is with child. Well, the laughs keep coming with number 3, Ikiru. Kurosawa directs this film about a man with terminal stomach cancer who tries to come with terms with the fact that he hasn't really lived a life. Takashi Shimura gives the stariest performance of all time as the man with little time left to live. There is an incredible elongated sequence where he tries to have a fun, drunken night out, and all I can say is Tokyo in 1952 looks like a lot of fun. The entire structure is flipped on its head in the second half. It really takes you by surprise and works tremendously, showing just how inventive Kurosawa was. If you thought that was depressing, in at number 2, The Life of Oharu. This very long film starts with an old prostitute sitting in a temple thinking about her life. The film then proceeds to show you the endless things that went wrong for her. Every time you think it's going to get better, something even nastier befalls her. It's a tough watch, but it does an amazing job of showing just how difficult people's lives were in the past, and especially how difficult it could be for women. And in at number 1, Singing in the Rain. If many of the films of 1952 were all about grief and sadness, then this Technicolor marvel is all about joy. And it's tremendous fun. The music and dance numbers are amazing, and the behind-the-scenes look at the world of Hollywood is fascinating and well realized. There is even some great stunt work. This shows you that as long as you can make them laugh, you can entertain an audience, something that the other films of 1952 could surely learn from.
Make 'em laugh, don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines.
Generally I prefer slightly more depressing films, but it's hard not to be swept up in the joy of this. Singing in the Rain is a real treat. So, counting down the top 10 films of 1952, in at number 10, Bend of the River. In at number 9, Five Fingers. In at number 8, Limelight. In at number 7, The Bad and the Beautiful. In at number 6, High Noon. In at number 5, Forbidden Games. In at number 4, Umberto D. In at number 3, Ikiru. In at number 2, The Life of Oharu. And in at number 1, Singing in the Rain. Well, that was my top 10 films of 1952. What are your favourite films of 1952? Cheers.